Hi, I'm Kyle. Welcome to Willingworth. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of creating a customized estate plan using Willingworth's online platform. This video is specifically designed for people who are married, in a domestic partnership, or a civil union, and don't have children. To begin, we're going to click any of the Get Started buttons on the Willingworth website. That will take us to the process page. On this page, you're going to see each step of the process and a brief description of that step. We did this so that you would know exactly where you are in the process and what the next step is going to be. At the bottom of the page, you're going to see a button that says Find Out If You Qualify. Let's click that button and it'll take us to the pre-qualification questions. Now these questions are designed to make sure that a Willingworth plan will work for you. So the first question, are you 18 or older? In most states, you have to be 18 to create a will, so we'll say yes. Have you been married more than once? We'll say no. And do you have children with special needs? Now again, this video is designed for people who don't have children, so we'll say no. And that takes us to our login sign up page, which means that a Willingworth plan will work for you. So to proceed, you're going to fill out this form by putting in your first name, your last name, and email address. Now, keep in mind that this is the email address that your estate plan will be emailed to once you finish the process. So be sure to use an email address that you have access to. And then we're going to put in a password that is at least 8 characters in length. So once that information is entered, we'll click Submit, and it takes us to the questionnaire. A couple of things to point out here on this first screen. The section on the right here, why it matters. We've included this section to try and answer questions along the way. So for example, what is your full legal name? If you're interested in wondering or why we're asking for that information, you can look over here in the Why It Matters section, and it'll give you an explanation as to why we're asking for your full legal name. So we're going to say Al's full legal name is Alex D. Green, and we're going to click Next. Date of birth, we'll say Alex was born in February 2nd of 2087, and then we'll click Next. In which state do you currently live? Now this is another really important question because your documents and your estate plan are state specific. So you want to select the state in which you are currently living. We'll say Alex lives in Colorado and click Next. What is your relationship status? So you've got 7 options here. This video is designed for people who are married, in a domestic partnership, or civil union. We're going to say married since domestic partnerships and civil unions are not nearly as common as they used to be. But the questions are very similar throughout the process. So we'll click Next. What is your spouse's full legal name? We'll say Alice F. Green, and we'll click Next. What is Alice's date of birth? We'll say Alice was born in January 3rd of let's say she was born in 1991, and we'll click Next. Do you and Alex have children together? No. Alex, do you have children from a relationship prior to Alice? No. And Alice, do you have children from a relationship prior to Alex? We'll say no. So you finished section 1. Now in section 2, you're going to select the people who are responsible for implementing your plan. Now, as you can see, there's going to be 3 people that you select. So you're going to pick a person to implement the instructions in your will. You're going to select a person to manage your finances if you are unable to do so. And you're going to select a person to implement your medical decisions if you are unable to do so. So we'll click Next. And this first question is for Alex. Who would you like to implement the instructions in your will? If you look to the right and you see the Why It Matters section, there's some information here that might be helpful. Down here on the second paragraph, you'll see that many individuals name a spouse, a parent, a sibling, a close relative, or a trusted friend to fill this role. So we're going to say that Alex picks spouse or partner, which is Alice F. Green for the primary, and let's say for the backup he decides to pick his father, who is William G. Green, and we'll click Next. Alice, who would you like to implement the instructions in your will? So let's say that Alice does the same thing. She picks her spouse or partner, and that is Alex F. Green for her primary. And let's say that Alice picks her mother as her backup, and her mother is Judy P. Jackson. And then we'll click next. So now we're moving on to the questions about who's going to help manage the finances. And what's nice about this questionnaire is that if you click on select option, you'll see all of the people you've entered in previous questions. So if Alex would like Alice to manage all of his roles, then he can just pick Alice, and that'll pre-populate the form. And let's say he decides to pick his father again for the backup, and that question is answered. Alice can do the same thing. She can click select option, and she can pick Alex to be the primary, and she can pick her mother, Judy, to be the backup. And we'll click next. Alex, who would you like to appoint to make medical decisions on your behalf? Same thing. He can pick his spouse, Alice, to be the primary. And let's say he switches it up this time and he decides to pick Alice's mother to be the backup. So he can select Judy. And then we'll click next. Again, same question for Alice. Who would you like to make medical decisions on your behalf? She's going to pick her spouse, Alex, as the primary. And let's say she decides to mix it up and pick Alex's father, William, to be the backup this time. And then we'll click next. So they finished with section 2, and they're ready to move on to section 3, which is the section where we're going to talk about how the property is distributed. So we'll click next. So the first place that Alex's property is going to go is to his spouse or partner, Alice, if Alice survives him. If Alice does not survive him, then he's going to need to decide who will receive his property. And you can look at the Why It Matters section here on the right, and it'll give you some descriptions of the specific types of property that are being discussed here in this main question. So we'll click next. If Alice dies before Alex, who would Alex like to receive the property? So let's say that Alex chooses his father, William, to receive 50% of the property. And then he's going to need to add an additional recipient because the total has to equal 100%. So we'll click Add Recipient. And let's say he decides to leave the other 50% to his mother, and her name is Eli G. Green. And we're going to select Mother, and we're going to do 50%. So now we can see that the current total is 100%, and we have the option to click next to move to the next question. Alex also has the option of carving out a specific cash gift for an organization, a charity, or an individual. So we can click Add Gift, and let's say that Alex decides to leave an individual $1,000, and that individual is his brother. So his brother's name is Billy P. Green, and we'll click next. And Alex is finished with his questions. The next set of questions are going to be for Alice. So again, these are identical questions, just geared towards the spouse or partner. So we'll click next. If Alex dies before you, who would you like to receive your property? So we can come down here and we can click select option, and let's say Alice wants to leave her mother 50%, and we're going to come down here and click Add Recipient, and she's going to leave her father, James, another 50%. So the total is going to be 100%, which allows you to click on the next question. Except we need to select options, so we're going to select father for that field there. Okay, then we're going to click next. Again, now Alice can carve out a specific cash gift for a charity, an organization, or individual. So let's say she decides to leave American Red Cross $500. And we're going to click next. Now, in this case, you'll see that we're not allowed to move to the next question because we haven't filled out the street address. And we want to do that because obviously the American Red Cross may have different chapters. So we're going to say 123 Main Street. And we're going to say Denver, Colorado, and zip code 12345. With that information in, we're allowed to move to the next question. And we finished that section. So the last section that you're going to come up to is the review section, which will give you the opportunity to look at all of the questions that you've been asked and all of the answers that you've provided. So you can scroll through each of these and just make sure that you don't have any typos, everyone's names are spelled correctly, that you've answered them the way you want. If you see something that's not correct, you can click an edit button, and that'll take you back to that question where you can change the information or correct the typo. Scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll see a go to payment screen or button. So you'll click that, and you're at the last portion of the questionnaire where you're going to fill out your payment information, and then all you have to do is click pay. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes for your documents to be emailed to you, and again, that document package is going to be emailed to the address that you entered in the login sign up screen. So I hope this has been helpful. If you need any additional assistance or you'd like to ask us a question, please contact us at support@willingworth.com, and we'd be happy to help.